Hey everyone, my name is Justine, and I have a line that is exclusively available at CraftStash called It's Just Paper. And you may have noticed that hot foil plates are included in my line, and those are new to CraftStash. And so I'm here today to show you how to hot foil using a hot foil machine so that you know how to get started the minute it arrives at your door. All right, so there are two buttons on this machine. It really cannot be easier to figure out how to use the machine itself. This back button here is the on and off button, so you just need to turn your machine on to get started. And what you're going to do is you're going to wait for that red light there to turn green to let you know that it's ready. In the meantime, you can get out your compatible die cutting machine. Just check the manufacturer's website to determine which die cutting machines work with the hot foil machine that you purchased. In this video, I'm using the Spellbinder's Glimmer Hot Foil system. This is compatible with the Sizzix Switch. It's also compatible with the Spellbinder's Platinum and Platinum 6 and several other machines. There is one available from Crafter's Companion as well. If you have a Gemini, you will need to purchase that one. So just make sure that if you're purchasing one of these machines that you have a die cutting machine that works with it. It also comes with a couple of plates here. It comes with a clear plate that looks similar to a cutting plate and this thin shim, and you can also add a piece of cardstock to that shim if you need to tighten up your sandwich at all, but overall those ones will work every time. So once your machine turns green, you're pretty much ready to go. All right, so now that my machine has turned green where it says platform ready, I'm going to add my hot foil plates on this. I've also made an adjustment to mine. You can see that I've placed 4 black dots using a permanent marker onto the heating pad of my hot foil machine. This just helps me place my cardstock accurately each time. I'm laying down the hot foil plates. You can see these look kind of like die cuts, but these are a little bit thicker in the lines and will not cut anything if you run them through your machine. So what you're going to do is you're going to add some foil, shiny side down, which is why I've also added a little label at the top of mine so that I can remember. And then you're going to hit that white button, the only button that's on the front of the machine, and you'll see that the green light is blinking. You're going to want to wait until that green light completely goes solid. And then you can add your foil before or after, it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to lay down your cardstock on top, and you're going to lay down the plates that come with it. Once again, the thin shim, and then the one that looks like a cutting plate is going to go on top of that as well. And then all you're going to do is just pull this platform out of the machine and run it slowly through your die cutting machine. I like to keep my hand on the die cutting machine to keep the platform nice and steady. And as I said, just roll it slowly through the die cutting machine for best results. If you happen to not get the best results, there are a couple of things that could go wrong when it comes to hot foiling, and we'll go through those in just a second, but you can really see the steps for this aren't really difficult. So once again, make sure your machine is ready to go. Heat up the hot foil plates, add your foil, shiny side down, cardstock, and the sandwiches, and run it through your die cutting machine. Then once you take off your paper, you'll be able to remove the foil here, as you can see, and you have a beautiful foiled image on your cardstock. Look how shiny it is. It's so fun. And it acts similar to heat embossing, where it does have a resist. So you could go over it with ink blends or spray over top of it, and your foiled image will resist anything that gets put on that. Now, I like to best prepare you in my videos just in case something does go wrong with foiling, and there may be 2 common issues that will maybe occur at some point when you're hot foiling. One of them is overfoiling, meaning you got foil on an area you didn't intend to foil. Kind of like getting stray embossing powder on your cardstock. You can just simply erase this using a sandpaper eraser, and generally it will come off quite easily. In order to avoid this, you're going to want to cut your foil just ever so slightly larger than your foil plate and not have too much hangover of the foil, and then you won't have any issues with this. But in case you're lazy like me and just like to cut off a piece of foil, just have one of those erasers handy and you'll be fine. The other thing that could occur, and you're going to see it happen here, is that you don't get a good impression of your foil plate onto your cardstock, and there are 2 reasons for this. One of them could be the cardstock itself, and the second reason could be that the sandwich plate isn't quite thick enough. So the first thing I would suggest troubleshooting is grabbing a different piece of cardstock from a different brand and trying it with a different brand. And if that works, then you know it's the cardstock that you're using. Cardstock does matter when it comes to foiling. The second thing that might be the issue, as I mentioned before, is that your sandwich isn't tight enough. So that means the platform, you have your foil plate, you have your cardstock, and then you have your shims that go in there, your plates. And if you need to thicken that up a little bit, you can just add a little piece of cardstock between the thin shim and the cutting plate or the foil plate, and then you'll be able to thicken up your plate and get a better impression. Now, the cool thing when it comes to hot foiling is it does work very similar to heat embossing, and in the sense that it does resist any ink that might be going over top. So you can go over top of it with ink blends, and you're going to have no issue with seeing the foil just shine through that. So the hot foil technique is really just a lot of fun. You know, there's tons of products that are becoming available more and more each day. So I don't really feel like this is just a trend that's going to be here for a few weeks. Many companies have come out with hot foil plates now, and they're really just a lot of fun and really elegant to play with and gives you such a professional look. Now, the difference between heat embossing and hot foiling is that the hot foiling, usually you have thicker lines. It's a little bit more shiny. And also, it gives you sort of a debossed look, I guess you could say, just an impression into the cardstock, which is really nice as well. One of the most common questions is, can you use your regular dies in the glimmer machine? And my answer is yes, you can. But what you got to do is you got to take a look at your die, and then the cut lines, so where it's raised on your die, that's the area that's actually going to foil, and it's going to be very, very thin. So although you can use them, I find that the hot foil plates do make a much better impression than using your die cuts, but it is possible. Now, if you would like to learn more about hot foiling, the different techniques that you can do and go really super in depth with it, I just invite you to go to justinehovey.com/foil, and I'm giving you access to a free course that is all about hot foiling so that you can get started with your hot foiling. I go through all the troubleshooting with it, lots of fun inspiration, and everything that you need to know about hot foiling will be on there. So thank you so much for watching and joining me. If you have any questions about hot foiling, drop them below in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them.